If we could all come to order and take our seats, we'll call this Executive Finance Committee to order. We're running just a tad late, but not to worry. We've done some good work today. If we could, we'll have an invocation, and if Phyllis would give that to us, I would appreciate it.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon each and every one that is here today. And Lord, we thank you for those that are gathered here and those that they represent. Lord, we just ask for your guidance and your blessing throughout this meeting, Lord, that you just unify us in your spirit, and all things that we do would be pleasing to your sight and will be for the glory of the kingdom. All these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Cherokee.
Thank you.
If we could have a roll call, please.
Here. Bill Baker.
Here.
Bill Anglin.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Audra Connor. Joe Crittenden. Harrison Braley. Here. John Garvin. Chuck Hoskin.
Here.
Bill Johnson.
Here.
Taylor King.
Here.
Ronnie Keener. Becky Bob Martin. Bill Minot Shotgun. David Thornton. Kara Calvin Watt. Phyllis Arden. We have a quorum.
We do have a quorum. At this time, we come to the point where we would approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Minutes will be approved. Moving right along, we come into our reports, and if we could have the report, financial report from Secretary Treasurer Tansy Lake.
Good afternoon. I've submitted my report to the Executive Finance Committee. You have it before you. I'd be willing to take any questions if you have anything on it.
Any questions on Tamsy's written report? She wants to go home early. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept her report.
I've got a motion to accept. I've got a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving right along, we have Cherokee Nation Enterprises with David Stewart. And yes, David's back there. So Sean while ago, and I figured you'd seen him. But.
Good afternoon. Had a great month. It was almost a record month. I think we were within $50,000 of the record, so continue to show good financial results. Our projects, I'd like to go over those and just give you an update on those. Of course, we opened Tahlequah facility here, and hopefully you've been out there to see it. We still have a few things to complete, but I think we still have the artwork to put in. We're going to do that over the next couple of weeks. The Travel Plaza at Roland will be open in mid-November, and we finalized the plans for the casino edition, which will be primarily a restaurant and some retail space right on the roadside there. So we'll have a much better presentation from the highway. I think you'll like that. So we'll finalize that probably in the next 60 days to start construction within the next 3 to 4 months. The parking garage will start next week, so we'll be roping off that area at the casino there on the west side. So we'll redirect some of our traffic there, so you'll see some construction going on with that. So that'll kick off. West Side Loam is 90% complete in terms of the concept and what we're going to build. So we'll start the drawings for that. We had some complications there at West Side Loam with the infrastructure. There's not enough water pressure there to operate the casino, and also there's some sanitary waste that we're going to have to build a lift station to accommodate. Those improvements are in excess of $1 million, with the total infrastructure cost, including some of the lines and drainage and everything would be about 1.7 million. So we're working on this improvement would significantly enhance West Siloam and Siloam's infrastructure from the city standpoint. So we've been working with both city officials. In fact, we have a meeting tomorrow. We have Todd involved. There will be some easement transfer issues, so we'll be presenting those to you through Todd and Diane and Hammond and so on to work out some of the details. So anyway, I felt you need to know that. There will be an actual transfer of some of those facilities, the water tower after we build it, mainly because if we keep it, we have liability of maintaining it. So once we build it, we would essentially transfer it to the city, and then they would be responsible for maintaining it. We looked at several different alternatives. One is to buy easements and go another way, and it turns out, in the interest of time and benefit to the community there, I think it's best for us to build the water tower and then transfer it to the city. So, Todd will be involved with us as far as those easements.
Question from the chair. Now, is water tower being built on trust property?
Yes.
And we're going to take it out of trust to transfer it?
No, we're going to actually give an easement. I think, Sean, you may know better about that. It's on trust property.
I believe the site that we picked is off. It's off track. I'm sure that's there. So two locations that we're trying to decide.
But it'll just be an easement, not a transfer of the property.
If it's off trust, I think it may be a property transfer because it's actually on the property and we have to get it to the city. So I'm not sure about that.
Well, let's do their old trick and give them a 99-year lease.
We'll look at those options.
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's a couple more things. The Tucson, we're still in the design phase. We're looking at an event center, possibly a cinema there on the north side. So we're looking at options to make that the right property and doing the business case for that. So we'll be presenting that to the board at the next board meeting. We did agree to sponsorship the scoreboard at Sequoia High School, so we'll be entering into that agreement. So you're going to see a very nice scoreboard when I place that. So that would conclude, and you have to answer any questions.
Questions? Melvina?
David, I still get complaints from people working at career services that the people that they send down there don't ever get, that they fill for jobs.
Yeah.
Are you, you utilize the people they send?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look into detailed specific examples, but I know that they do go into the pool and we look at everybody in terms of qualifications. I've got some specific examples. I could take a look.
Okay, I'll ask them. Thanks.
Other questions or comments?
I just
Mr.
like
Johnson?
to say, the more I see of some of these other tri-casinos, I went through that big deal down in Norman the other day. And all it was just a big building and I think we're right on with our plan and our way we've got our, especially at Tucson where we've got the hotel and everything. I know the strong city looking at the big ads and all that, but it's just got a lot of big buildings, a lot of machines in it.
Yeah, we're definitely different. In fact, we continue to be in excess of 90% occupancy on the main hotel and then 80-something% on the other one. So the new expansion definitely have a hotel piece to it, an event center that would be associated with the event center would be somewhat similar to what they have, but a little bit nicer. So we're going to continue to build high.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. David?
I guess this would be not doing this. I'd like to make a motion to change this.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
Change this form in one way, but right now, I'd like to bring forward my resignation of this city advisory board. And, because I've really had a lot of problems making those meetings. Every time they call a meeting, something else goes up. And one of my constituents needs help with something, I have to go somewhere else. And I just haven't been able to make those meetings. Makes me feel bad because I don't make it. And so I'd like to resign on that board.
Got a motion to accept his resignation?
Second.
Got a sec, or do I have, I've got a motion. Second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton?
And on the same note, I would like to go ahead and make the motion to appoint Mr. Taylor King as to take my place on the advisory board for CD.
Got a motion, got a second.
Chair, I have a concern about that, though. No offense, Mr. King, but I understand there's a conflict of interest with that appointment. There's even a potential conflict with the Constitution and some outside work that he's doing for the Osage tribe, is what I understand. So I need clarification on that before I vote.
Okay, Mr. King?
Certainly. I'm a consultant contractor with the Osages. I'm generally working for the principal chief on an hourly basis right now, for 2 months. Todd has a letter on that. That is not a conflict of interest.
Probably not.
And further, Mr. Chairman, I'm familiar with what the Constitution says, and my understanding is to keep somebody from being on the council at another tribe. You read fully the language in the Constitution. But I certainly hope it doesn't keep us from making a living.
May
You may.
So, because I clarified with our Attorney General, who I don't see in the room either, that my construction company could not do business with another tribe unless I got approval from this body, because that's how far the new Constitution language does go. So, I take exception with it, that someone would, I mean, if that's fine, let's straighten it out, but I want a formal opinion from our Attorney General on it so that I can do business as well without having to bring it in front of this body. But the specific nature of the work with the other tribe in business development brings me concern, because we have private business stuff that's conducted in those meetings, and not saying you would, but you would naturally be privy to inside information and then taking business development opportunities back to Osage Nation, and I don't think that's a good thing. So,
Linda, then you.
I think the integrity of our fellow council member should not be in question. We've already discussed the matter of his contract with the Osage Nation. I think that'll be up in a short period of time. I don't think there's any conflict regarding the Constitution. However, I have heard this councilor's integrity be in question numerous times by the same individual, and I'm really kind of upset about that. I think that Mr. King would be a good asset to be an ex officio officer on the city board. He will be my support.
Taylor.
Mr. Chairman, just to finalize, again, I fully understand the confidential nature of the work that I do and what I might see as an advisory board member. However, it is just an advisory board member. I do not have a vote there. And if there's any, I'm not allowed to work here at Cherokee Nation. And if there's anything I can do to help other Indian tribes and other Indian people, I think it's in everyone's best interest to do that.
Other comments?
Call the question.
Oh,
I just have to say, when there's your contract, it's
September 24th.
when
September 24th.
Chuck.
David, would you accept the friendly amendment to also include the knowledge that his contract is running short term, and that way the council will be aware of that commitment?
Yes.
Okay, and who seconded it? Did you second it? Oh, you accept that as well?
Yes.
You accept that. Okay. We'll vote, okay. Phyllis. I don't know who had their hand up first. Phyllis.
Sorry. My only question is about the
the term of office that Mr. King is serving is, and of course I know that applies to all of us, but since he only has a short term left, what will that do to another? I mean, how long is this term on the CNE board? Okay.
Till the next till the next election.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Don?
I was wondering, Mr. King would like to make any campaign promises to always be at those meetings. Be in conflict.
I'll do my best to make all of
I know you can't guarantee it, but you get close.
bearing any major acts of nature, I'll try to be there. And I'll be glad to visit with anyone about any of the thoughts, what I see at those meetings.
Okay, we'll vote on the amendment first, and then we'll vote on the question. So all in favor of the amendment that makes that appointment with the knowledge that he has a contract with the Osage Nation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. It did pass. Do you have a question?
I want to be supportive, especially I know that the knowledge that Mr. King will bring to the advisory board and to the board in general, but until I didn't realize this was going to come up today, and there was questions, and I've had a voice call concern that this was going to happen because you've attended other meetings. I'm going to support it today without additional information from the Attorney General or clarification on the Constitution. It's not saying I can support it next month without any proper answer, but I just can't do it in good faith for the Cherokee people because I've had phone calls on it. So,
Any other questions? All in favor of Mr. King being the ex-official member to the CNE board, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
no.
I don't think we need division. I think there's 2 noes. Be Bill and Kara. Everybody else voted yes. And that'll be the order of the day. Moving right along. Anything else? You done? Okay. Thank you, sir. Cherokee Nation Industries. Dennis?
July is the end of our beginning of our fiscal year. So the report you had is the month results for the year to date, July 31st. And the income for the first month was $630,000. The cost was still, we're making fine profitability in the personal staffing and telecommunications, so the building of the volume, and the manufacturing and distribution. Total sales for the month were $8.5 million. Compared to last year's profits, the profitability is up about a bit for the month. But July is a month with a lot of adjustments from the prior year. As we're going through the audit, you see that we need to make adjustments. So it's not very good month to report comparisons. Balance sheet at the end of July was cash was zero. As I explained before, our cash was in the line of credit. So unless there's just a transfer that hasn't swept over against the line of credit at the end of the month, this stuff is we always be zero. Credit accounts receivable was $15.1 million. Net inventory was $9.7 million. And then investment in our GEG and the trucking still was about $3.1 million. And then as of June 30th, I really don't know how to transfer this since our year has ended. I'm revealing this, but I'm not really showing it on my financials. If some information somebody how to show this. Their year-to-date, our percentage of the year-to-date loss is $700,000. So that's what everybody's going to know that, but it's not affected on the year because our year started all over. So I'll still put it retained earnings or we'll replace it and I'll talk about all of it. Liability for accounts payable is $7.1 million. Line of credit is $8.1 million. And debt on the over ADC inventory is $600,000. July was $15.9 million. And here in July, the old inventory was sold around $20,000 of that ABC inventory. Just right now, it comes back in with 100% profit because all that was previously written off. Our internal auditors, BK JD finished their field work this week, and then they're going back to close out Christmas and August, so they'll probably get some money before it was over for that. Any questions on that portion of the report?
Questions?
Dennis, what happened on Sikorsky? Did you win the contract, or is it still pending?
I think that's one of those things that we can't talk about until we really know for sure.
Oh, so it's
I think it's going to be good,
pending.
though. Yeah.
It's positively pending?
We have probably a 95% texture inside the moment. We're having a final risk mitigation meeting next week, and I hope to know Thursday afternoon as the party. So we have two or three other major contracts that we hope to know early next week as well. So.
Good deal. Good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Doug?
I just have a comment that, as far as the GED investment on the balance sheet, I understand why you don't have it for after your hearing, but once you begin and finish the hearing, you probably need to be identifying with your profit or loss.
Right, there's a column there that I've got a little black line for them. Okay.
How appropriate.
Yeah, and then I believe you had some report this morning on the construction.
Yes, sir.
Ask that real quick.
Thanks, sir.
The request for construction review of major projects. This is our first opportunity to address it to this committee. I believe that you guys are familiar with the format we use in the resource committee. So if there's things that you see here that you'd like to add, we're still modifying. We've only changed to this format about a day ago, so I've reviewed it. That would be similar to what was requested. California Casino basically is on a punch list right now. We should have it completely turned over within 30 days. But as you know, it did open on time. Palisol Clinic. Still on target completion date, as well as the Nowata Clinic. Both of those clinics are still on target to be completed on time.
Excuse me just a second. Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brian, I'm just trying to get this to the same sort of format
Yes.
that we have for CNE, and actually I believe that came from Council Watts originally. And what the goal was, take our oversight responsibility very seriously. And I think all we want to see in these kind of projects is it being run as efficient as it should be. And again, this is a hybrid organization. Started as a governmental agency and has moved over to CNI, and I know that you all inherited over there. And we also have construction division within CNE as well. And we both have tasks with that, and I think prudent management always just look at scope, schedule, and budget. And that's really all we want to see. Is what was originally planned, is it executed on the way that's supposed to. Now, when we compare any of these projects to the CNA reports, for example, on the power plants, it's showing that we're over budget, which saddens me, of course. But I know that when you're looking at the total cost for that, it's $7.5 million.
Right.
So, somewhere in there, we're not doing a good job. It's the original appropriation, I don't know what it was, but I'm trying to reconcile between these two organizations. It was $5 million and it turned out $7.5 million. well, where's the accountability? I also don't see anything here that would, tell us what the change orders were. Any project like this, construction, manufacturing, you're going to look at change orders. And I think in the other format that reported from C&E, you were able to discern that from the numbers. And there was also discrepancies between the numbers here that they're claiming for Terro vendors versus what was being reported at C&E. The C&E number was much lower. And again, we spent months trying to get that reporting accurate and correct. And so, I guess my questions are, you are reviewing this?
Yeah, basically we took our current data and tried to bring it over into the format, knowing that we're going to probably have to add or modify. We may not be, from the standpoint of how we're capturing the data, capturing it the same way C&E is, so we will look to keep modifying and improving this to have all the criteria presented to the committee.
All the questions I have.
Other questions? Meredith?
Not trying to put you on the spot, but how does construction management fit in over there? We do a lot of wiring harnesses, electronic type work. How is this just an opportunity to diversify, or how does it fit at C&I?
Well, at C&I, we have several business units. We have different product lines. We have the wiring harnesses, as well as distribution, telecom and services. We have leased a building across from Sequoia High School. That's where construction management is currently residing. It's handled separately. Financials are handled separately. We have 3 controllers that are C&I, and 3 controllers handle different functions of the business unit. So they were monitoring all the activities, as well as from Barry Boswell, the business unit manager. So it is handled as a separate business, and it's looked at and reviewed like any of the other businesses, kind of independent, so we can make decisions as to projects that we want to do. Currently, all the projects are tribal, and we are looking at what we might be able to do on the outside. So
That was my next question. Do you have a healthy backlog, or?
currently not, probably. There's a lot of projects within the tribe, and we're trying to look at, as we roll these people off projects, we have another project to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're currently looking at that. Working with the other divisions.
That's the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other questions? Comments? Seeing none. Thank you, Brian.
Mr. Chairman,
Don?
we have 3 representatives on this committee. Do they want to report anything that's going on during the last meeting we had? Councilman Martin and Griffin, or is there anything we need to know?
Well, if they want to, they obviously could, but you
I
have.
want to hear from our own representatives.
Councilman Martin?
Well, I attended the last C&I board meeting, but what you ran last year after the meeting here, Cherokee, and stayed in on a 4.5 hour board meeting, very lengthy, but I'm not complaining about that. I think the meeting was proper. They gave support, but it was a positive meeting. I thought discussion about things that the volunteer group was doing to secure jobs, whatever, for people who were there. And that was a very good board as far as I'm concerned, to work with. So other than that, that's all I want to say about that.
Councilman Crittenden?
I didn't get to attend the meeting, so I don't have anything to report.
Nor did I, but we had a meeting with some of the employees recently. It was a good information meeting from the employees, and in return with that, we have visited with the directors there at C&I, and they have resolved those problems and taken care of business and giving about their bonuses on time. And I'm assuming that I haven't had a call recently with the problem, and I thank you for your hard-working effort man, and I believe Mr. Blue has brought us up to date when he was up for renomination with some of the situation, the problems there and solutions to some of them at CNI. So I think we're right on cue with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the report from our representatives. Keep us informed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Anybody else want to say anything? Moving right along. We'll go to the Historical Society. Carrie Kelly.
Appreciate y'all giving me a chance to talk about what's going on at the Heritage Center. I know it's been a long day, so I'll try to keep my report brief and give y'all a chance to ask any question you might have. Y'all have or been sent a copy of the financial statements, so feel free if you have any questions about that to ask me. I brought my accountant, Christy Moore, with me today, and she'll probably assist on some specifics if you have any. I did want you to know that as of July 1st, we have used just under 70% of the Cherokee Nation budget for the Heritage Center, and approximately 59% of the payroll budget. Also, for July 31st, we paid just under $126,000 toward our long-term debt. And just wanted to add, on the next month's statement, you'll see that we paid an additional $30,000 towards that. So we're real excited about really get that moving down. Next week, we'll have Suzanne Medeiros coming out to conduct an audit. And then the last thing, and I hope this is a good thing, and hopefully we won't have to bring up anymore, is the air conditioner is in place and ready for a changeover. Once we get through the holiday and get a little break in the weather like we've had this week, we'll team's ready to go with it, and it should take about 4 days to come in stop and we're good to go.
Carrie, I got a question from the chair. This last committee approved a resolution to have a joint council meeting with the Katuas. We were hoping to have it at the Heritage Center at the ancient council house. How much you want to charge us to use that?
I would consider it quite an honor. I think that'd be a historic event, and it'd be an honor to have it there. So,
Thank you. Any questions? Comments? Thank you. All right. Cherokee Nation business. Gally Ketcher.
See you again. The financials are in your package. A couple of things I want to bring you up to date on. There's a special C&D board meeting September 15th at 9 o'clock. It'll be in Catoosa in the C&D boardroom. And the purpose of this meeting is to review 3-year capital investment budgets for all 3 entities, CNI, CNE, and CND. Cherokee CRC was recently awarded another $500,000 contract, and they continue to do well. Also, there will be a wire cutting ceremony in Bonita September 6th to celebrate the implementation of wireless broadband. That's going to be at 10:30 in the Bonita City Council chambers. This is the first rural build-out that's going to go live, and that will be set for next week. Next also has a confirmed commitment with the city of Ardmore, and they are working with several others through the Community Communications Authority. I think this is the official name of it. That's my report. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer.
Okay.
Kelly, speaking of Cherokee Connects, have they made a payment to us? Did they make a timely payment?
They did make a timely payment.
Okay, what was it?
It was the first principal payment on the loan. Don't remember the exact amount. It was like $59,000. And the thing, it was principal and interest on the loan.
When is the next payment due?
It's due today.
Have you received it yet?
I haven't called the office. I've been in Tahlequah with this fine council all day.
I appreciate the fact they're getting more customers also.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, and I would be remiss if I didn't recognize one of our most famous Cherokees. Speaker Adair just walked in the back door, and we're always tickled to have him here. Speaker Larry Adair.
Mr. Chairman.
Phyllis.
I would like to amend the agenda to consider the resolution 3406, which is the health care bond that Callie's going to be speaking to, and so she might get on her way.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to talk about the health care bond, and I assume tweak it to their lawyer's approval. And all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Did you ask to put it right now, Phyllis?
Please.
Okay. You got it.
Thank you. Doug and I have been, we just got a call yesterday from the gentleman who is helping us with the bond issue for the healthcare construction. And there were a couple of technical changes that Fitch, which is the credit rating agency, requested in this resolution. What we're handing out are two copies. This would be to amend Resolution 3406. There's two primary changes to this. One is to make it clear that we're pledging the discretionary revenues of the Cherokee healthcare system to service the debt on this $30 million in bonds, which is what we have always, we've talked about that since the beginning.
Now, it's the entire system, not just the Muskogee Clinic?
It's, the way it will be defined is third-party collection.
From all the facilities?
From any of the facilities. And the reason for that is if you look at the debt service on these facilities, we're issuing one debt, and it's for 3 clinics. Muskogee especially is going to have a ramp-up period where their collections won't necessarily be sufficient to service that portion of the debt, but we have more than sufficient third-party revenues plus some fund balance to cover the debt service. We have $2.5 million proposed in the 2007 budget.
Move for approval.
I've got a motion.
Second.
I've got a second. Other, Bill Johnson, do you have a comment?
I have done a question. Go ahead.
Wait, no, we're into questions.
Back a year or so ago, Melissa came in and she talked about money that was set aside for contract help that was never used because the person didn't.
Yes, sir.
That was advised or something like that, and the money was sitting there, and I just wonder what.
As I recall, when Doug brought that to her attention, did they not realign that and bring some of that forward to use for current contract help?
Yeah.
Yeah, what they were doing is they were saying that so-and-so needed a bypass, and they were booking $60,000, $70,000. Well, he might have got in, and a balloon might have done it, and they actually only billed us $20,000, but they weren't taking 40 off the books. Well, we were out of money, but we had money, but I think Doug helped them correct that. But I do believe it's in the system and churning much better than it was. Okay, just a minute. Taylor, Chuck, Phyllis, and Don. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kelly, I'm just curious, is this float, is this a travel float, this bond here is tax exempt?
Yes, it will be.
Is it conduit financing, or do we actually get our own rating? And
We are getting our own rating. We've been working on this project about a year. Fitch is the credit agency that we're working with. This close. We expect, we hope to get investment grade rating, which will, if we achieve that, we will be the first tribe in the state of Oklahoma to achieve an investment grade rating, and I believe only the second tribe nationwide. So it will be quite an accomplishment for Cherokee Nation.
somewhere in the double B's is what we're hoping for.
Investment grade.
So this will certainly pave the way as we find other needs within the Cherokee Nation to grow, that we can float bonds like any other municipality or industrial authority and incur that and really make things grow.
Yes, this is a real positive move. One other thing, if I might, there is a second change to this resolution which clarifies how arbitration would be handled, and you will find that on, I believe it's page 4. Basically, this was another request from the rating agency to clarify that at the request of the parties, and of the parties means Cherokee Nation or the trustee or the holders of the debentures, if all those parties agreed, then it would go to arbitration. And it just deals with how you resolve disputes. I have run this past Diane Hammond's. I think Doug has talked with Todd about it, and it's cleared legal. So I just want to make sure you know there's two primary changes. One, to clarify how we're going to service the debt, which is through health third-party revenue and arbitration.
Phyllis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do we need to sponsor this? Is that, Rick, are you sponsoring this? Okay. Thank you. I'll sign on with that.
Okay. Linda and Phyllis. Okay, Don?
I was gonna volunteer to be a sponsor, but did you just do that? Okay, super.
You want to? You do or you don't?
I can be a co-sponsor with you.
Okay. Meredith?
You kind of answered it on arbitration. I was thinking about sovereign immunity, what the jurisdictional questions would be. Sorry, I haven't read it.
First, jurisdiction is federal. Second is state. Third is Cherokee Nation.
Okay.
And this is what we had agreed to.
So we're waiving what expressly we. I should have read it.
That section didn't change, so I apologize. I'm not up to date on that.
That's all right. I'll read it.
Okay.
Yeah. Admin.
It's strictly for the purpose of enforcing the bonds.
Okay.
If you look at the bottom of page 3, that specifically talks about the waiver. And specifically...
Oh, for enforcement. Okay, I see it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All minds clear. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Back to the agenda. Kelly, are you done? All right. Community assistance. Doug?
Move for approval.
I'm sorry. Wait. I didn't hear. Say what?
He's gonna add some more on this list.
Okay. Just one second. Doug, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We're into community assistance, and
I have several additions since the...
all right. Why don't we let Doug read off what he's got, and if yours isn't already on there, then I'll recognize you in order.
In addition to what was sent to you in your packet, are the following: $125, Mr. Thornton, Evening Shade Community Association, $500 each. Bell Community, Mr. Cridden, Mr. Martin, $2,000. Mid County Fire Department, Mr. Cridden, $500 each. Mr. Martin, Mr. Cridden, Strawberry Festival Powwow Committee. $58. Ms. O'Leary, Red Clay Society, that will deplete your balance. Ms. O'Leary. Mr. Gardner, Forum Senior Nutrition Site, $850. And a Cherokee Nation intern, doctoral candidate, $950. And we're ready to take additions.
Okay, Jack Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Got this information today, and I talked with this lady several weeks ago. They're asking for $300. This is a Stillwell High School volunteer group that the reason is they have to help our boys buy plenty of water and power aids to drink through every practice to keep the boys from dehydrated. So this is a group that we have before. I haven't talked to Mr. Chris and if he willing to pass on that or whatever, but I would like. And I have all the information, the list of the tribal.
What is the dollar amount?
300.
300, so 150, 150?
If he's willing, yeah. 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 Thank you.
Okay. We have Kara.
Thank you. $250 to Uvalde